Ex-Arsenal winger Perry Groves there, saying that Aston Villa to stand any chance of winning the league this year need to strengthen in January. I watched your face during that clip there, wincing, sort of sighing. Do you agree with Perry Groves there?
I don't think we need 3.
And he's saying starters as well.
I think when we made the volume of signings that we made last January, it was because we were not going well and we were struggling to manage the Champions League and the Premier League. So it needed some impetus, and we got to the end of the window and opportunities came up to get Asensio and Rashford in, and Duran had been sold. So they did it and got those extra players in. At the moment, I think you would run the risk of kind of disrupting what's good about you if you were to bring in that volume of players. I would say a maximum of 2 at the moment. Harvey Elliott's going to probably go back to Liverpool at this point. He can't get near it at the moment, and now they'll try and bring in a forward. They're being heavily linked with their Brazilian winger today. Just before we've come on air, I haven't read about it yet, but that's in the Athletic today. We don't need 3 players. We look at that 11 that played against Arsenal at the weekend.
Who'd you take out?
It's a strong 11. I'd say at the moment we've got a core of about 14 or 15 players that are playing to a really high level and a high level players, and that's the reason we're doing well. Sometimes when you have a bit of disruption, and look, it worked against us in the first part of the season in August, you can manage to use that to your advantage. And we haven't got a smaller squad than last season, but it's certainly it's the same size, but it's not got as much quality. But during that time, players that were already here have now stepped up, and just when you think they haven't got another level to go, they managed to find it. Matty Cashy's playing it right back, playing the best football of his life. John McGinn just seems to get better every single season. Rodgers is over his early teething problems this season, and he's now back to the level that we know he can play at. And the midfield area is just so strong because Tielemans and Kamara, facilitated by Onana in there at the moment, who's playing very well as well. Them two are just so good. They ran that last 15 minutes against Arsenal.
They were picking holes, and even in the first half when you started really well, Watkins was through on goal, and there was a lot of transitional moments, like the passes between the lines to just break Arsenal's midfield clean open were absolutely excellent. And do you know what it is? I just got such a big soft spot for John McGinn. Like, I just think he's so good, and he just gets underlooked, overlooked all the time, and not maybe respected as like one of the best midfielders in the league, because it doesn't sound cool, and maybe the way he does his interviews isn't how, I don't know, there just seems to be this sort of not from Villa fans, no. But from like I don't think people talk about people like John McGinn that much. And actually, your midfield in general, you make some really good points, because Onana, big money move for 50 million. In the first season, I thought he did okay. There's some injuries. He's asking a few questions as there's gears to go up. He can be more dominant. He's big, he's powerful, quick across the ground. He's showing it. Tielemans, people forget, was free.
And Kamara was free. Like, McGinn was £2 million.
Do you know how scary that is? Like the midfield you've constructed from like bargain basement, as they want to say. So you need a lot more credit for that. And the manager, man. I mean, you wax lyrical about Unai Emery all the time, and we have our laughs, but he's just a top drawer manager. Yeah. Like, there's no other way of breaking it down.
No other manager could do what he's doing, I don't think, with the difficulties of the summer. Yeah, the net spend was a negative. Like, we just couldn't buy anyone. We couldn't do what we wanted to do in the summer. That's the thing. Like, as well as he does every summer, it's almost like you're telling a kid that their pocket money's gone down every year, and they're thinking, well, why? Yeah. Like, why is my pocket money going down for no reason? Like, less money to spend every single year. Obviously, we should have probably qualified for the Champions League, and that was a cloud that was hanging over us for a bit. But just when you think like, can he get any more out of this group? He's performed miracles already.
He can.
He goes and does it. The run that we are on at the moment. I mean, since the beginning of September, we've only lost one game in the league.
It's insane.
Like, we were miles off at the start of the season. We couldn't hit a barn door. We could barely muster a shot on target.
He scored a goal, remember?
Yeah, to have turned that round and to be getting the levels out of these players that he's getting. And once you get a bit of momentum and you get a bit of belief, this is starting to feel like a couple of years ago for me now with Villa, when we finished in the top 4, when maybe you're a bit of an underdog and you use that to your advantage. That's what we're doing at the moment. The amount of scalps we've picked up under Unai Emery in terms of teams we've beaten, particularly at Villa Park. Like, no team wants to come to Villa Park. It's such a hard place to play against. And when it's a game and an atmosphere like it was on Saturday, I thought the roof was going to come off when that winner went in.
So, Dan, this is brilliant what you've said. I agree with everything you've just said.
That's a first.
Yeah, it is a first. Because I told you I'm 38 now. So are you in the title race then?
Well, right now, I suppose you look at the points tally, and yes, we are, but there's never a title race at this point of the season. Like, this isn't the title race now. The title race is when you get to 30 games and you're on the home straight, the business end.
Yeah, but people accept that Arsenal and City are in a title race together.
Yeah.
So that's because they're the two that prove that, and this, that, and the other. They've gone the distance for a title race before. You're saying Villa, you're not trying to think about that now. Is it just game by game, or are you starting to think, actually, well, I'll tell you what, 3 points off it. Why aren't we? Why aren't we?
For me, it's just such a massive thing to win a trophy and get back into the Champions League. Like, they're the two priorities. If we can just keep racking up the points whilst other teams are struggling to find themselves.
Just get further away from the rest, and then you don't matter.
You'll see now that in the league there's a little bit of a gap. Like, it's the first time we've had a gap on anyone else because everything's been so joined up. But for us to be like in and around Man City and Arsenal at this point of the season is absolutely incredible. Maybe if you get to the end of December and we're still in a similar situation, and maybe we can make that buffer a bit bigger, you then start to talk about it. But what we've done is, Perry Grove said about 3 players, which, no disrespect to Perry, I just don't agree with that. I don't think that would be right. But we've suddenly made ourselves like an attractive proposition in January if we can find a bit of wiggle room to get one, like maybe a clever loan, not Rashford obviously, but someone like that, where you get a big player in.
It's a temporary measure, but they'll come and improve.
Emery will want someone, he always does. But we've made ourselves attractive again.
Yeah, absolutely, with some of the football you're playing as well. Donyell Marlon is starting to show a bit now. In terms of the position up front, Ollie Watkins is starting to get going as well. I thought his goals against Brighton were really good.
Yeah,
thought it was really well taken, especially the second one. Excellent finish. Should have scored actually in the opening exchanges against Arsenal with that left foot strike.
Yeah, he's unlucky.
Pushes Timber over to the floor like nothing. That's not easy to do. Goes past Nkapie, I think it was, and is a good save from Raya. But is he starting to find his form now, or is it a good little battle between he and Marlon?
It's too early to say with Watkins. I thought he was quite telling last week that as soon as Emery actually came out and spoke about what the problem's been with him and spoke about the injury, he scored 2 goals. Yeah, it's like he's been holding him back, that nobody actually knows what the problem is, and there's a lot of questions being asked of him. I don't think it's a coincidence that he scored 2 off the back of that. And there's moments where you watch him and you can visibly see he's struggling. He hasn't got the kind of pace to get away like he would have had in previous years. I think a couple of seasons ago, he probably gets a couple of goals in that Arsenal game with those kind of half chances.
Yeah, definitely.
He was making those things count, wasn't he? And it's just not quite there for him at the moment. I think if he scored that first chance, he probably has a different type of game. But he's the kind of striker that if he misses one, he started to go back to that player that it bothers him. You can see. But as soon as he scored 2 again, as soon as he scored that first one against Brighton, he was running at full tilt again, looked like the Watkins of a few years ago. My personal opinion is that Marlon's fine as a number 9 for certain games, and he's been playing number 9 on his own in the Europa League on a Thursday in games that we probably should win, and we're managing to do that with rotating the squad, and we'll get top 8 in the Europa League, no problem at all. But I'd have reservations if he had to do it for a sustained period as a lone number 9. I think they'll probably look at getting a forward in if they can.
Yeah, I need to get some support, because I think it'd be good for Aston Villa from this point of view now to go and kick on and show that intent. Unai Emery's had to basically operate this summer with 2 hands tied behind his back with the summer that they had. We're not even talking about Harvey Elliott at the minute, but because that was a big outlay, which I know there's some complications, some complexities around how many games.
We won't be paying that.
You won't be paying that.
No.
Sancho, it's just, he did all right when he came on against Arsenal actually, but he's going to blow hot and cold. And Lindelof, no disrespect, is nothing to shout about, but he'll come on in the last.
Give the Iceman some respect, please.
Yeah, Iceman. I told you at the start, good Premier League player, and when you need him to come and see out some games, that's what. For
the market we were operating in, he was the best we could do.
To get this, and you talk about blood out of a stone, that's where Unai Emery is incredible, because it's essentially the same team as last year.
It's not though, is it? It's a lesser quality. We had Rashford and
it's worse. Yeah, exactly. But I meant like the players that you've got. And he finds a way to galvanise them, make them believe, say, we're all walking this way, let's go. Don't worry about the tough start to the season. We're going to be all right.
Yeah. The fact we are where we are now, I would never have seen coming at the start of the season. I thought this was going to be his most miserable. Difficult.
You were like,
but you could say I was miserable, but I still was backing the manager.
Oh, you never, you said we'd turn it around.
Yeah, I know he's too good a manager, but by turning it around, I just kind of meant top 7, top 8, try and win the Europa League. I didn't think for the life of me that we'd be where we are now. The man's an absolute miracle worker, and the day he leaves Aston Villa will be a terrible, terrible day for the football club, because he's that important.
Do you think you win something? Because
we've got to.
That's what it is now. I mean, you look at like what Palace have done, and you look at what Newcastle United have done. Like
I'd swap what we'd done for that probably.
Of course, because you want to win things, right?
Yeah.
And I just look at the club the size of Villa and the quality of players, the tradition and history of the manager of winning things at other clubs, not so much Arsenal, but all the other clubs he's been at. Just really quickly, do you think this can be your year? FA Cup, Carabao? You're out of the Carabao Cup, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we've got nothing.
Brentford Pens.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm in the same boat. But
You're not sure? I can't remember.
No, I can't remember either.
Oh, okay.
But do you think you can win something this year?
Yeah, I think the Europa League's an excellent opportunity. We've got the Europa League expert managing us. Like we
get into the Champions League just with that as well.
Yeah, it's two cracks at it, but the bonus is that you might win a trophy along the way as well, which would be massive for the club. You know, I do quite a lot of stuff with old Villa players, and sometimes I'm doing stuff with the old players, and they're obviously getting on a little bit now. And I think, you were the last person that won a trophy for this club. Like it's actually frightening that we've gone this long without a trophy. I've said previously, a lot of people gave Spurs jip for not winning a trophy for so long. They did win something in 2008. Yeah. We haven't won something since 1996. Like it's the teams that have won things in that period. Like, no disrespect to any of these teams except for the obvious, but Middlesbrough, Wigan, Birmingham, Portsmouth. Like, all these teams have won trophies. We haven't. Like it's scary. If we don't win anything with this manager, then I might as well just pack it in because we will never win something. Because we'll never have a better manager than Unai Emery ever.
Oh, that's a big statement.
We won't.
But I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying. You never know, though. You never know. Right, you're listening to TalkSPORT 2 Social with William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. Next up, it's Twitter Corner, and can Mason Mount break into the England World Cup squad this summer?